Hi, everybody. Captain Lou here with another Extravagant Few Minutes live on the Captain Lou Extravaganza Facebook page. And, of course, 12-Ounce Sports and our YouTube channel, which is 12-Ounce Sports, where we invite you to subscribe to get all of our programming, all of our live content, our archive shows, including all of our Extravagant Few Minutes and the Extravaganza with Captain Lou and Mitch. Happy Sunday, everybody. Memorial Day weekend. Hope you're having a fun weekend like I am. Let's take a look in also who's having more fun than the Florida Panthers. Yesterday in Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Eastern Conference Finals between the Panthers and the Carolina Hurricanes, 1-1 after 40 minutes of play. The Hurricanes looked to keep it close, but then a minute 37 in, the Panthers were able to get the 2-1 lead. Mikkola with the goal, and then four more goals about 5 minutes later in a 4.5-minute span, and all of a sudden it was 6-1 in favor of the Panthers. Mikkola with a couple of goals last night. Alexander Barkov with 2 goals in that 5-minute span. Brad Marchand with a goal. And next thing you know, the Panthers now are 1 game away from their 3rd straight trip to the Stanley Cup Finals. 6-2 the final score last night against the Carolina Hurricanes. Game 4 will be in Sunrise tomorrow night. And again, the Panthers, with a win tomorrow, they're going back to the Stanley Cup Final. Who will they play? Well, it's still completely up in the air in Game 3 to this afternoon of the Western Conference Finals, where Dallas and Edmonton get set to do battle in Edmonton. 3 o'clock Eastern time will be the puck drop. Edmonton evened up the series on Friday with a 3-0 shutout win over the Dallas Stars, so they look to keep that momentum going. They've got home ice, but don't count the Stars out just yet, as they've shown they're capable of winning on the road as well. This one ought to be a dandy. Game 3 this afternoon at 3 o'clock. In the NBA Western Conference Finals, yesterday, Game 3 in Minnesota. Well, I'll tell you what, when Oklahoma City loses, they lose in style. 143-101. They got thumped on by the Timberwolves last night. 7 players in double figures for the Timberwolves, including 4 off the bench. They led 73-41 at halftime and didn't look back. So Game 4 of that series will be tomorrow night. Oklahoma City still with a 2-1 lead. They've got the home court advantage still. But a win for the Timberwolves tomorrow night. They'll gain some momentum going back to Game 5 down in Indianapolis. Today, it is Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals in the NBA. The Indiana Pacers with a 2-0 lead. They took 2 at the Garden from the New York Knicks. They look to put a stranglehold on this one. A win today for the Pacers, you could pretty much ice it for them, and they'll have a trip to the NBA Finals. The Knicks, I know they've won some games on the road. They went into Detroit and won a couple of games. They went into Boston to win. But we'll see what they can do now. Their egos they're dinged up a little bit, but they've got to win. If they don't win today, like I said, it's all over. Game 3 today in Indiana between the Pacers and the Knicks. In Major League Baseball, the Detroit Tigers lost their 3rd straight yesterday to the Cleveland Guardians, 7-5 in 10 innings. The Tigers jumped out to a 3-0 lead, but the Guardians, again, proving to be the kryptonite for the Detroit Tigers. They tied it up in the top of the 8th inning and then scored 4 runs in the top of the 10th to hang on for a 7-5 win over the Tigers. The Tigers, with the loss to the Guardians, now have a 3-game lead over Cleveland and Minnesota in the American League Central. Tariq Skubal, the reigning Cy Young Award winner, will go on the hill for the Tigers as they try to salvage 1 game of that 4-game set to try to get that lead back up to 4 games over the Guardians. Elsewhere in Major League Baseball, the Philadelphia Phillies won their 9th straight game yesterday afternoon. They are the best team in baseball right now at 34 up and 18 down. Every team in the National League East won yesterday, while every team in the National League West lost. So with that, we'll take a look at the standings in the National League East. The Phillies still with a 3-game lead over the New York Mets, 8.5 over the Braves. In the Central, the Cubbies with a 2-game lead over the St. Louis Cardinals, 5.5 over the Reds, 6.5 over the Brew Crew. In the West, the Dodgers still up 2 games over the San Francisco Giants, 3 over the Padres, and 6 over the Diamondbacks. We talked about the Tigers. They still have a 3-game lead despite the 3-game losing streak. 3-game lead over the Guardians and 3 over the Minnesota Twins. And the Kansas City Royals are 5 back in the American League East. The Yankees lead over the Boston Red Sox, 6 over the Rays and the Blue Jays. And the Seattle Mariners still holding a 2.5 game lead over the Houston Astros, 4 over the Angels, and 5 over the Texas Rangers. And before we go to break, hey, if you're a car racing fan or auto racing fan, today is nirvana for you, because you've got both the Indianapolis 500 starting a little bit later on this afternoon or this morning, and then tonight it's going to be the Coca-Cola 600 down in Charlotte. So not sure if they've got anybody doing the double dip, if you will. I remember back in the day, they would have somebody race the Indy 500, qualify for it, then hop in a plane and get down to Charlotte in time for the drop of the checkered flag or whatever. But I don't think that's happening. But anyways, if you like car racing, you've got about 10 hours worth of racing ahead of you today. The Indianapolis 500 first, then the nightcap with the Coca-Cola 600. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll take a look at today in sports history and today's birthdays right here on An Extravagant Few Minutes on 12 Ounce. Welcome back, everybody, to An Extravagant Few Minutes here on the Captain Lou Extravaganza Facebook page and 12 Ounce Sports. Let's take an extravagant look at today in sports history. Back in 1989 and 1991, Calgary and Pittsburgh, respectively, each clinched their first Stanley Cup championships. In 1970, the Indiana Pacers, they won the ABA National Championship 4-2 over the Los Angeles Stars. In 1965, Muhammad Ali KO'd Sonny Liston 2 minutes and 12 seconds into the first round to retain his WBA and WBC heavyweight crowns. In 1951, Willie Mays made his major league debut, going 0 for 5. And in 1935, Jesse Owens broke 4 world records in just 45 minutes in a Big Ten track meet in Ann Arbor at the University of Michigan, which is still considered the most exciting 45 minutes in sports. Birthdays today: Brian Urlacher, Chicago Bear great, turns 47. Tariq Glenn, he turns 49. Sean Merriman, another NFL great, turned 41. And Kendall Gill, ex-NBA player, turns 57. Also born on this date, Casey Jones, legendary coach of the Boston Celtics back in the 80s. He got 3 world championships as a head coach, and also as a player back in 1965-66, born on this date, 1932. And Lindsey Nelson, longtime broadcaster for Notre Dame football. I also remember him doing a lot of Green Bay Packer games back in the 70s and 80s. He was born on this date in 1919. All right, that's going to do it for today in sports history and today's birthdays. We want to thank you for welcoming us into your homes, on your laptops, iPhones, computers, however you watched us around the world, here on the Captain Lou Extravaganza Facebook page and, of course, 12 Ounce Sports. Enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day weekend, everybody. Be safe. I hope you enjoy it with your family and friends. And also this reminder, while you're doing that, keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your minds open. So long, everybody. We'll see you soon on An Extravagant Few Minutes here on 12 Ounce Sports.